Have you ever seen a stonemason work? 2 years ago, Hurricane Irma came through, devastated a lot of the Southeast, and included devastating our sign at the Walton campus. And honestly, I was okay with that because our sign was old and awful and we needed a new one. So in the process of getting a new one, we found out, because of where we're at in our location, that there was a certain code that said that the base of a sign had to be made out of a certain either brick or stone. And so we said, okay, we're Graystone. Why don't we just use gray stones? So that's what we did. And so we hired stonemasons to come out and put together this base. And honestly, I'd never really seen stonemasons work. So what I did on the day that they were working is I positioned myself at the church to look out the window so I could see what they were doing. And man, it was absolutely incredible to see what they were doing. They went to town. They were purposeful. They were efficient. They were careful by placing, man, stone by stone. They knew where it went. Man, it was like the bottom row was really thick, and then there was like a thin row, and then, man, it was just absolutely incredible to see them going. And then it would actually come, when they came to a stone that wouldn't fit really perfectly, they would get out there like chisel and this like tool and just, man, they went to town, and then boom, man, they got it fitting in the right place. And man, when they were done, it was absolutely incredible. It was like this just incredible masterpiece, what they had done. And so on Sunday, Pastor Jonathan, we were celebrating our 15th year anniversary. Hopefully you were in town for that. If you weren't, you can go back and watch it online. And but we looked at the passage in 1 Peter chapter 2 where God is talking about building a house. And so I wanted to read that a couple of verses from 1 Peter chapter 2, verses 4 and 5. It says, "As you come to him, the living stone, rejected by humans, but chosen by God and precious to him, you also, like living stones, are being built into a spiritual house." And so what the picture here is that God is building this living spiritual house, and Jesus is the foundation. Jesus is the cornerstone. And he is building this house, and he's using these stones, these living stones, to build the house. And we are actually the living stones, you and me, followers of Jesus. God's people are the living stones. And so on Sunday, we actually each had a stone, and we wrote our name on it. And time of response was really, really special. But you get this great picture of what God is doing and what God is building. But I think sometimes in our life, when we think of that, we go through a chiseling process, right? Like every single one of us go through seasons or difficult times in our life where it's like God's chiseling us down, and he's going, boom, he's taking that part off, and he's taking this part, and he's smoothing this out. And that can be a difficult process. That transformation process can be a very difficult process. Whether it be, man, just things at home are not going right, things at work aren't going right, things at school aren't going right. It may be a finance problem. It may be a relational problem. I don't know what it is, but it hurts. And we can easily take on that posture of, why me, God? Like, why is this happening to me? And see, we have, as humans, we have this small and finite perspective where we can only see like this. But see, God has this massive, huge perspective, and he's building this massive house. And so I think, like, as he is building us, we need to keep this in mind. We need to have that big perspective in mind of as he's molding us, as he's forming us, as he's chiseling things down in our lives. We need to be reminded of that. So man, I pray, like, the next time that you're faced with a hardship where something's going on that, man, it's just not going right for you, that you would take that posture instead of that why me posture, that you would take, my man, thank you, God. Thanks for allowing me to be a part of your plan and your process and the building of your house, the church. That's what the church is. So man, hopefully this encourages you. There's one final thing that I didn't mention about our sign process, is what the stonemasons were, a father and a son. And what a great picture that is of God the Father and Jesus the Son. So hopefully that encourages you today, this week. Hopefully make plans to be with us on Sunday. We're starting a new series called Thrive. We're going to be looking at, man, how do we thrive and not just survive in a fallen world? So bring somebody with you. It starts this Sunday. We'll see you then.